Hey, Barry. Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. You hadn't said anything. Hey, we just watched a great movie.
Oh, well, thank you.
So we've got about, I don't know, I'd say there's about 45 students here.
Great.
Um, and this is just really great. We really appreciate you spending the time and time with us just to ask you some questions and pick your brain a little bit.
Sounds like fun.
All right. Well, I'm going to start. I'm going to ask you a few questions. The first question I want to ask you, and it deals with an honest liar, because I know you love an honest liar. If you love an honest liar half as much as I do, you're over the moon about it. Because I'm super proud of that movie. I got to work as a line producer and assistant editor on it, and and what I want to ask about is we just watched a movie about setting up movies in Hollywood. And you're currently working on trying to get the Alpha Project set, passing it around Hollywood and setting it up. And I'm an independent film producer. I've produced about 10 features, but I've never done anything in Hollywood as far as like studios or anything like that. So I just wondered, I'd love to hear just kind of your take on what things have worked for you, how you do things, and as far as getting things set up in Hollywood and with a studio, and how your style might be a little different than Chili Palmer's.
Well, first of all, I really like your angle. Your angle, the camera's low, and you look really manly. I went with a high angle, more beautiful angle, but you've got the more manly angle, and I'm really impressed by that.
Thank you. I spent a lot of time setting that up.
Good. Well, I'll tell you about Get Shorty, for instance, and why everyone should be both optimistic and pessimistic about making a film in Hollywood. Although now, whenever I say to studios, I want to do this movie, it's just like Get Shorty. They go, oh, well, Get Shorty, that was a slam dunk, that was easy. And then I reminded them that it took over 7 years to get Shorty made. In fact, Danny DeVito, who was a producer, had an overall deal at Sony, and Sony passed on it twice. We literally took 7 years. In fact, what's interesting is Elmore Leonard, until Get Shorty, had a series of movies based on his books that didn't do well. 52 Pickup, the third set. No, he had written westerns, but none of his novels were made into successful movies. And I read Get Shorty as a paperback book. It meant that no one had bought them. And then I called Danny DeVito. I had been a cinematographer on Throw Mama from the Train, and Danny and I became friends.
Absolutely. Great movie.
Danny, I just read a book that you should buy, and he said, okay, I'll buy it. I'll produce it, you direct. And I said, okay, great. And he did. He bought the book. And he had never read it before he bought the book. He bought the rights. But the fact that Elmore's book was available after it had already been in paperbacks, something about Elmore. No one wanted to make a movie based on an Elmore Leonard book, and no one wanted to make a movie about Inside Hollywood.
Wow.
So it took us 7 years. We got passed on by every studio and every single star. And then my agent, DeVito's agent at the time, was named Spector, CAA, and Fred on a ski lift. And another CAA agent had just cut the head of MGM and did to announce that it was making a movie.
Right.
And Fred said, read the story. And this guy was too nice to know it because everyone else had passed on it. And Mike Marcus bought it. And we then had Scott a bunch of drafts. And then every actor, from Dustin Hoffman to Joe Pesci to Warren Beatty, and MGM gave us the list of a dozen actors. You can get one or two other guys who'll make a movie. And Yankees did called Jersey Film. Jersey Film had finished Pulp Fiction. It had to come out, and I went to a mix, watched Travolta, and he was fantastic. And Travolta turned it down. Well, the other Jersey Film was a woman named Stacy Fair. Stacy used to date Quentin, you know. She called Quentin, had Quentin Get Shorty. Quentin's a huge Elmore Leonard fan. And Quentin called and said, this is not the movie last time. You should do this movie. So Quentin's now to anyone is the reason why Get Shorty ended up getting paid. In a way, he can Travolta do the movie. So my point is, there's no right way to get a movie. I will say that if you're aspiring director, the two best ways as a director to get a movie made is either writing, controlling your own script. You can always, a studio can always to direct your movie, but you own a script and say, I will only sell it to you. I'm the director. That can step up. And the other way, I think that editing is a really fantastic way in terms of learning how to direct, because we do learn about structure and what you need, what you don't need, and what setup you need for that. But in the case of Honest Liar, you know, we felt the way the wife and I, was to convince a writer who has a specific take on it, who would get interested because of the right. You know, those are less and less interested in buying specs or buying spec scripts, but spec you know, because then you got to find a writer, and the writer's no good, and totally wrong. You walk into a room with Honest Liar. Here's the documentary. Here's the idea, and Scott, Frank, and writer.
Right.
That thing's a way to do it.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that. All right, my next question has to do with, I'm going to take you back to your cinematography days, but it also will reference your directing too. And it's a question of tone.
Right.
You started with the Coen brothers. You shot Blood Simple, Raising Arizona, and Miller's Crossing. Okay? Blood Simple, Raising Arizona. The difference of tones in those movies about as far as they come. So when I teach, I talk a lot about tone and just, you know, those thoughts in every level, you know, from design to writing. So as a cinematographer, when you're approaching those two such different films, what sort of approaches did you take as far as that goes?
Well, both as a cinematographer and as a director.
Sure.
I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to start as a director.
Perfect.
Tone is everything. Consistency is all a director does. And what's really interesting about consistency of tone, whether it's, let's say, you know, Simple or Raising Arizona or those movies, is a director answers thousands of questions, and it can be what color you want recipe. You prefer that they probably Stock 96 or the BW411. It doesn't matter. What is you have to answer thousands of questions, and it's to be answering all these questions. And it's a stupid question, and that question, an important question. But all tone is having an opinion about everything. And you say, I don't care what you know, if the prop guy just wants the red one or the green one, they don't want you to say, I don't know. You say one feeling. And somehow, by answering these questions, you've created tone. It's also about how fast actors talk. And if the camera is an energetic participant in the movie or a reporter. I mean, what's not kind of interesting. I love Duane, as you know, less Raising Arizona or Through the Clock High. It's a DP or the movies I direct. My standard is 21 millimeter. And even on close-up, less to one, because wide-angle lenses are that attractive for people. Tony Scott, Ridley Scott, their standard lens is like a 300 millimeter. You know, Bill Smith, when he worked in Black, said, yeah, just come off of doing anything to the state. And he said, on the state, I saw the camera. And on your movie, I can't even see past the camera. The camera is literally 2 feet from him. What's interesting is Scott's movies are very beautiful. And what happens is, because of one lens makes a very specific plane of focus. You know, like the background gets very tough out of focus. What it does is it's very pretty, but it's very removed. It feels like replica. The audience somehow unconsciously doesn't feel like in the room with the actor. With my camera, because I'm an only child, I need to be in control of everything. My camera is so close to the actor's 21 millimeter lens, literally, the audience in a very unconscious way knows that the camera is in the room with it. These actors. And that's tone. Choose the lens. See how someone walks across the screen. It's tone. And what records do is be consistent throughout that tone. I remember seeing him 20 years ago. It's called Kindergarten Cop. Schwarzenegger. It was a comedy. He's an undercover cop working in a
kindergarten cop, yeah.
Until the last 12 minutes become profoundly bloody and violent. And I remember the audience, I was in the room, you know, at a screening thinking, I don't use scrutiny. I took this movie and you changed tone.
Yeah.
So, Blood Simple. And by the way, Blood Simple is kind of unique for us because the first day on Blood Simple is the first day that Joe or I had ever been on a movie set. Joe never did anything. Ethan was just the typical typist that he sees. So we kind of didn't know what we were doing in many ways, but we really controlled everything. We had shot listed and storyboarded everything, and there was very little decisions that were made on the set. And the truth is, my advice to directors is it's all about pre-production. Truffaut said, the great thing about post-production is when you're done filming, it will be as bad as it ever could be.
Yeah.
And now you get to make it better.
Right.
So the truth is, I will post get better then. And the way this cut of the movie you just saw gets started. My wife, myself, the line producer, my best friend, his wife, we walked out of the editor's cut of the movie and thought, this movie is unreleasable. This is wrong. And then we start throwing out all the stuff you thought you needed.
Right.
And I'm an incredibly good editor because I hate everything I do. But my rough cut, it's always shorter than the police cut.
Right.
My first cut of offer was like 65 minutes, and it back to 50, you know? So I will say it's so interesting you ask that question because it's all about time. And in the case of Racing Arizona, was that the camera was in the movie.
Oh, you just cut out. The camera was what?
The camera is a character.
Oh, absolutely.
Movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the most sort of in-your-face, annoying, self-conscious. There's a shot remember in Blood Simple, where the camera is going along the bar, into the bar, except there's a drum in the bar, and the camera booms up,
right.
and over drum continues.
Right.
And I went to there's an editing room one day, and they had taken that shot out of the movie. And I said, hey, why did you take that shot out? Bill said, it's a little self-conscious. And I said, the whole movie is self-conscious. Pick up that shot. And Miller's Crossing is very different. It's very it's a colder town.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for this. This is great. We've got some guys here who are going to come and ask you some questions. So you do cut out every now and then, so they may stop you and say, I didn't hear that. We could pick it all up mostly, but occasionally they may stop you. Excuse me?
Am I talking too loud?
No, you're fine. It's just Skype. It's not you. Yeah. All right. So who's first? Just come on up.
Are we going to make a line or just what is that?
Yeah, if there's not enough of us to make a line. Just come on down. I'm going to be here just in case there's an issue. No, let's sit down and talk to me.
Okay. Hey. My name is Eric Lechtenberg. I am very interested in story. I'm just starting in doing professional storyboards, and I just wanted to get an opinion from you, who has a lot more experience. What is your favorite element of story, and what would you give as your go-to advice for the best way to tell a story? Kind of a loaded question, I know.
For me, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm interested in character. And I think part of about reading scripts is to read scripts that have good dialogue, that's quirky, original, that isn't called pat, or predictable. I think people are really interesting, and that most scripts, you kind of see the next step, the ending, relationship failing, 40 pages before you get there. So I think the hard part is originality, dialogue, and interesting characters. Joel and Ethan were at the Telluride Film Festival last year, and they were showing Win Davis. And someone said, why do you have a kidnap? And Ethan said, because when Ethan had finished the script, and Joel, and they loved the characters, but Ethan said to Joel, hey Joel, we don't have a plot. Joel said, yeah, we don't. Let's add a cat. And what's weird is that it looks like they realized they didn't have a plot, so they added a cat. So I would say, plots that are interesting, but I think it's about character dialogue. When I read a script, I don't read within the first 10 pages original, quirky characters, the way they talk, the way you and I talk is not the way most people write scripts. I pretty much early can tell the script's not going to be good.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. I mean, I'm just trying to think of another, but I think I'll probably give it off. But thank you so much.
You bet.
Okay.
Hello.
I
My question for you is, how was the process between when you were a cinematographer and then moving into directing, kind of that transition?
Yes. Well, here's what happened. I went to NYU Graduate Film School, and I didn't really learn, no offense, but didn't really learn that much from professors from making movies. Even the professors much better when you had made a movie, and then it could sort of help you what you messed up on, and how the angles didn't work, or that everything talked slowly, or plot didn't make sense. But if you make a movie, it's really hard, I think, to learn how to become a filmmaker. So when I got out of college, and this is pre-video, this is when 16 meter was what video was at. When I got out of school, I bought a camera, a used CP16, because I felt if I owned a camera, I could call myself a camera. It was $5,000, but it was a friend. I was shooting industrial kind of stuff. Eventually, I met Joel Cohen at a party one night, and Joel was going to raise money for Blood Simple by shooting a trailer as if it was a finished film, and use that trailer to raise money. And I said, well, when a camera, and he said, okay, you're hired. I shot the trailer. It took us a year to raise $750,000. And as I said, the first day on the set of Blood Simple was the first day old Ethan and I had ever been on a movie set. But that led to other movies like Big, Throw 'Em Up from the Train, and I got a reputation as a cameraman who could help first directors. The truth is, because I had made movies that I owned at film school, I considered myself less a cinematographer and more a friend of the director. So in addition to lighting or setting up different camera angles, I would just as often say to Penny Marshall on the set of Big, I might say to her, you know, before lunch, the actors had a lot more energy because they hadn't eaten lunch. We wanted more energy because they had made movies and understood the filmmaking process. When I was shooting Misery, which was the last film I was a cinematographer on, I was at a hotel watching the Indianapolis 5 when a hotel lot said, just dropped a movie. We want you to read it in 2 hours. And that was Addams. So Scott asked me to be the director of Addams Family. I've been trying to be a director. I was happy being a cinematographer, and I did. Every other cinematographer that had become a director and did not succeed. Bill Fraker tried to direct The Lone Ranger. Gordon Willis, one of the movies who shot, you know, the other movies, had directed Windows. Ron Alonzo, Town directed. In each case, the cinematographer took their camera system or camera operator and said, all right, now you're the movie. What that meant is they really want to give up being at the camera, because they were just taking some guy that they could push around and said, you're the DP. And none of them succeeded. So I felt if I was going to succeed as a director, I needed to find a cameraman that was so good that it would push me away from the camera and force me to direct. So I hired Owen Roisman, who had French Connection and French Connection, who had been nominated for Academy Awards. Specific, so I couldn't come to Owen and say, you want to put a double net? You know, he knew so much more than I did that I couldn't help him with the shooting. I was forced to actually work with the actor. So the way I became a director was I forced myself not to be the DP. And in fact, on X, because it was lower budget-ish, I initially hired a guy who had shot for me. And I found, and he wasn't very good, but he was cheap. And I found myself saying to him, to this guy Mark, shouldn't the take go there? And shouldn't we put a double net in that? And I immediately went to the line producer and said, I need a different team. I'm shooting this movie and I want to direct it. And that's when we brought Don Peter, who is brilliant, had production most of the movies. So I wanted to get him to force way.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet. Am I breaking up a lot or a little?
No, just a little bit. And I think, do you guys get most of everything? Yeah, I think you're coming through pretty good. So
Okay.
awesome.
Drop a thing or two.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Nice night.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tom. I just had a quick question for you. I was wondering, I guess not really that quick of it's bigger, broader thing, but so when you get a movie, you read the script, you get hired on as the director, like what's your first move? Like what's your process? What do you go through there?
Right. Sidney Pollack once said, there's no movie worse than the one you've just decided to direct. And it will be better than the one your friend just got hired to direct. And it's kind of true. You know, it's so strange how this happens and how you somehow make these movies your own. You know, you read scripts, and as I mentioned earlier, you pretty much can tell very quickly if it's sort of up your alley. I tend to feel like I think we're really good to do, but as Ron Howard said to me one time, the great somebody is when you go to dailies, it worked or not.
You're asking to say that.
Can you say that
You
one
cut
more
out the
time?
rock.
You cut out on that one.
Sure, you know, when you direct a comedy, when you go to dailies every day, you know if the scene worked or not. If you're directing a drama, you go, yeah, okay, I got the shot. She seemed to be angry. I don't know. But a comedy, you really know if you failed or succeeded yesterday. So I tend to like comedies. I tend to like a certain sense of sort of surrealness to what I do. So when I get hired, the first thing to do is casting. And again, casting goes back to this one. I have a very specific way I like to work with actors, which is some directors spend a lot of time talking to actors about backstory and how abusive God was or whatever. I tend to tell just do it a lot faster. Whenever I watch a TV show or go to the movies with my wife, I'm going to widen out the camera. My wife sits on this side, and puts her arm on my hand when we watch movies. You can't do this. Because, in fact, I only got through 10 minutes of, what's that TV show about the ad agency?
Man.
Mad Men.
Right. I could only get through 10 minutes because I couldn't believe anyone could A, talk that slowly, and B, why, if I'm cutting to your reaction shot, why is there silence? Why aren't I talking over your reaction shot? So I'm doing this all with my arm. So my process is you read a script, you say, yeah, I really like the script. Somehow you convince someone to make it. Usually they won't make it unless you have one of these 8 stars. And then the first process is really casting. And again, casting is tough, and then I love pre-production. I love spending weekends working on shot lists. I then, when we get the movie made, I hang the shot list for every day, everyone. The grips, the actors, the supervisors, so they know how many shots we have that day, what the angle will be. Because the worst place to make decisions is on the set. The best place to make decisions is when no one's annoying you and no one's looking at their watch, pretending they're not looking at their watch, but standing next to you, looking at their watch. That's not when you want to figure out where to put the camera. So for me, it's all about pre-production. It's all about casting, figuring out all the setups, working out every camera move ahead of time so that on the set, like the last 2 days, I'm in Los Angeles right now. I've been hanging out with Joel and Ethan Cohen on their new movie, which is called Hail Caesar. You've never seen more boring, relaxed, quiet set. It's like watching someone make widgets in a factory. Everything has been planned. There's storyboards on easels. Everyone knows what the next shot is. They'll do 3 takes, and then Joe will say to Ethan, Heath will go, yeah. And they move on. It's all about, and then it's all about editing. You just made a horrible movie over the 12 weeks that you've been shooting because you planned on a beautiful sunset, but it was overcast that day. You planned on a really big curtains that the police tell you that morning can't cross the 2nd Street. All movie shoot is about is things going horribly wrong. You get through it, and you have to make it.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jenny. You were talking about a good way to get a movie made is if you are the writer and director to insist that you have the creative control and remain the director. As someone who's just starting out, where they don't know who you are, what do you recommend on giving your script up like your baby? Would you prefer to just hold on to the main ones and go direct something else and then bring your scripts in later?
It really depends how good your script is. If your script is really real good, and someone says, we love the script, but won't give you it, but we'll give you $150,000 for it, X amount of back end, it's up for you to decide, is it I need money now, or I'm going to say no, you don't let me direct it, I'll close my mouth. If someone wants, you know, the guy that wrote Truman Show, he wrote Truman Show, he insisted on directing it. And the compromise was the producers, Ruth said, I'll give you the set. I'm breaking up terribly, right?
Starting to a little bit, but
Yeah. Do you want to call me back and just see if we get a clear connection?
Sure.
we could try that one
Let's
second.
try that.
Okay.
It is breaking up just a little. Sometimes I think it's because I'm in whatever. Let's try it. I'll call you right back.
3560 is the post. correct?
Yes. I hope I get him back. Hi.
If this doesn't, we try one other thing.
It
Is
just
it still working out?
yeah, and well, it's here and there. That last little bit, it did start to get weird. So let's just give it a go. Let's bring her back in.
Right. And if this doesn't work, we can try one other thought. But am I breaking up with that?
No, it's better.
It's pretty good right now.
Okay. And so you have to decide to what extent you think the script is good enough that you're willing to sell it versus holding at. Anyway, Andrew Nichols, I think it is, his compromise on the Truman Show was that he got the chance to direct a scene. The studio paid some amount of money for direct the scene. If the scene was good enough, would have. Am I breaking up?
No, I got that. It's directing a scene.
And in this case, he directed the scene, and the studio said, "Not good enough. When we get another director." But it's a really hard decision. But I think this script is unique, and someone showed real interest. It obviously helps if you have some background in directing and can show them. There's the 3 movies I did at school in Utah. But it's hard, but it's the way to do it. It's the one unique thing that you can have, which is the written word, because no one else can then steal your script. So it's really good. Hold that.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
You bet.
Hello, my name is Jake. We've talked a lot about scripts and stuff, and as a producer, I'm sure you're reading scripts all the time. I want to know, what is it about specifically a comedy script that really kind of floats your boat?
Do you drive a motorcycle, Jake?
I do not. No, I wish I did though.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking. I would say dialogue, or something that specifically needs. It's really hard to come up with a good, new, original, romantic comedy, and unless it has a specific twist, or it's written really well, or it doesn't take you where you thought it was going to go. So I would say the thing that gets you right away is dialogue, and you can tell in the first 5 or 6 or 8 pages, this sounds like when people talk. People don't start every sentence with, "Let me tell you what I'm thinking." People, and I would say in writing, get into the scene as late as possible and out as early as possible. Don't have the people coming into the room sit down in the chairs and say, "Can I tell you what I'm thinking about her?" Come right in with, all right, what a, already you're half a page into the scene. So when you write a movie, look at it really carefully and start getting rid of half. You get a script. Half what I do is cross things back. Get into the scene, don't have them come into the door. Don't have describe them sitting down. So actually, since the other thing is, and I don't mean this literally like a scene has to be at the hit it part, but everyone needs a certain urgency to the scene. What is anyone trying to get out of the scene? What does an actor want from another act in this? So there needs to be an urgency, a pace, writing. And then you have it. I met a guy, plus he had written a really good first script he ever wrote. And it was called that for saving the planet.
Can you say the name of that script again?
The how-to guide for saving the planet. And it turns out that the premise of this script, which we ended up buying, and I got MGM to pay for the screenplay, is that there's a how-to guide that these little boys had to protect the planet if there's an alien attack. That's a great idea. Loved it. And the how-to guide literally, if this happens, the aliens are using this thing to page 257. And it would say on page 256 what to do. And it was literally how-to guide. Now, if I'm still breaking up and get out of here in about minutes, we try calling me back and I'll connect different Wi-Fi network.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting most of what you say. The
Okay.
majority of it, we're getting it.
So I would say dialogue and unique idea.
Great. Cool. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Come on.
I'm still kind of working on phrasing my question, but I think I got it.
No better time than the present.
Good evening.
Yeah.
So I'd just like to ask you as both a cinematographer and as a director, now as students, we're all shooting everything digitally.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, your opinion on it. Do you think that we're spoiled because we can shoot everything we want and not have to worry about the cost, or that we're limiting ourselves because we can shoot everything? We're not looking for the specific in the moment spark of what we're working on.
Yes. The truth is, and it shows in the stuff I was a cinematographer on Blood Simple, Basic Persona, 3 O'Clock High. At film school, film, the developing of the film, the coding of the film, to match the soundtrack to the picture, was so expensive that we never sort of just shot a lot of stuff. Everything was planned. Every angle was planned. We never shot masters. We pre-edited in our head and said, I bet we're going to need a close-up only the second half of the scene. We wouldn't shoot every piece of dialogue from every angle. We really designed everything, and that helped us in terms of how we were going to edit it. And I think what I shot knowing how I was going to edit something, because I couldn't shoot from every angle because I couldn't afford it. It helped me help directors better direct cinematography. So I imagine what it's like today to be able to shoot endlessly. And I don't think it's helpful.
All right, thanks, sir.
Yeah, sorry about the technical stuff here.
It's great. We're doing fine.
No, you're still good.
Okay. I think we'll do 2 more questions.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll try and be a little quick with mine. My name is Bryson. I just have a real quick question about doing an adaptation.
Yeah.
When you're going about making a movie that's based off of a product or a book or whatever, whether it's well known or not, do you feel a lot of pressure to remain super faithful, or are you kind of more concerned with making your own thing? So, like, how do you go about making an adaptation?
You should not feel you need to be faithful.
No.
For instance, on Honest Liar, although the fictional won't be an adaptation at all, we're going to take my characters in that movie and make the movie about these 2 kids, and not about Randy or Uri Geller at all. It will be official. In the case of Get Shorty had fantastic characters, great dialogue, but had no ending and no plot. And Scott Frank really created an ending. In fact, the ending of the book Get Shorty is Chili Plummer still hasn't been able to sell his idea about Brian Keener. And I think the last line of it is something like, endings, they're a bitch. You can't end a movie that way. And Scott Frank came up with a great ending. And came up with all sorts of scenes that weren't in the book, to the extent that the first time Elmore Leonard saw the movie, and Elmore loved movies, was a huge movie fan. The first time Elmore saw the movie, he said to me, "Hey, like, how do children know that?" And I said, "Elmore, that's in the book." I mean, he literally watched the movie, and he covered all that we were or weren't faced to the book. So I would say a movie is a movie, a book is a book, a documentary is a documentary, and they're different things. And you really don't need to be faithful to your original material. Having said that, if you pick the greatest novel ever made, and if you pick Self-Control and didn't have Sophie have to make it twice,
Defeat the name. All right, thank you very much.
you bet.
Okay, last question.
Hey, I'm Colin, and
Hiya.
I'm coming to school here to sort of like figure out the basics, I feel like. But like, what questions do you still ask yourself in the field? What are you generally asking yourself, and what do you feel like you can learn being like so far up the chain that you are?
Well, you learn that you're not that far up. You know, every time you make a movie, you learn things that sort of both surprise you, but also make you realize that it all goes back to that. You know, Wild Wild West was not successful either. Wild Wild West, for instance, is an example of something that I relearned. one is, and I think what happened in part is when this giant mechanical spider came out of the ground, totally, because it was so huge and so massive, I think the audience felt it was a different tone. Another thing that happened with that keep happening is it's all about chemistry. And Will Smith and Duane had no chemistry. That was supposed to be Will Smith and George Clooney.
Oh.
And Clooney decided not to. And we got Kevin Kline for late, and there was no chemistry between Will and Kevin. And the audience didn't realize there's no chemistry. Why should we invest our interest when they don't seem that interested? So one thing is, I'm constantly learning the same thing over and over again, which is that consistency of tone, chemistry, a good story, real emotions. But I would say that what I also learned is you just never know what's going to work out. I've turned down movies that when I see that they're successful, I think, wow, I never got that script. And I still don't know how I was interested in that. And there are other things that have interested me and have been successful. But for me, it's about tone. And also, one thing to talk about is world creation. A lot of what I do, whether it's Addams Family or for television, Pushing Daisies or Men in Black, is like to create sort of a world that's real but pushed. You know, Pushing Daisies is someone who can bring dead back to life. But to me, it's as real as anything done because it has the reality within the world of that product. So you keep learning the same things again. Will.
All right. I really liked your answer.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, folks, let's give him a hand. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Duane. Next time we'll just do a phone call and avoid the Skype.
Or we'll tell Skype to get their act together. Thank you so much. It was great. We really appreciate you. Love your films, and I just am just so grateful to have had this opportunity. And when you go on that boring set of Joel and Ethan's tomorrow, tell them hi from UVU.
It's a deal. Well, thanks
All right.
so much. It's a pleasure.
All right. We'll see you, sir.
Good night.
Good night.